Is investing in a rental property a good idea? Now guys, in this video, I'm gonna share with you some simple tricks, some simple secrets that I use each and every day, whether it is you're looking to acquire like a rental, like long-term, I mean, people that are willing to pay rent, stay in the home for a minimum of a year, or whether you're looking into what this new hype and hot thing is, and that's called Airbnbs or nightly rentals, where people stay for short term and you can maximize how much money you make. But in this video, I'm gonna break down step by step how to do that, how to make the right decisions so that you don't make bad investments and ultimately have that chance of going bankrupt. Are you guys ready to get into the rental game? If so, this video is gonna break down, I'm gonna share with you step by step how I personally have acquired now over 15 rentals. They're all single family. There's been a couple duplexes in there, but I'm gonna share with you my process, my blueprint on how to acquire good deals that cash flow. And then stick with me till the end because I'm gonna break into these secrets about Airbnbs and how really, guys, if you are anything like me, how you've gotta be ready because I think there's a huge opportunity coming around the corner where you're gonna be able to scarf up these beautiful brand new Airbnbs for 40 to 50 cents on the dollar if you are prepared and ready. So let's get to this video right now. So let's break into this video right now with just simple rules. I'm gonna share with you 3 simple rules on what you need to follow to make sure that you really are purchasing rentals that are gonna cash flow and be great investments for you. Rule number 1, that is live and die by the criteria. Guys, at the beginning, when I got into rentals, I really didn't have any criteria. What do I mean by that? Criteria of you have to follow a process. You lay out, this is what I want in a rental, this is what I want in a rental, this is what I want in a rental. And if it doesn't pass any of those in any one, maybe it passes 2 of the 3, but it doesn't pass all 3, it is out of here. You gotta kick it off and say no. Cut it out of your body like you would cancer. You have to cut that out of your business. You gotta cut that out. It's not an option for you to rent, to have that as a rental for a long-term investment. So what is my criteria? Let's break into those right now. First and foremost, minimum has to hit what I call the 1% rule. Now you guys might have heard of this, but let me break it down for those that don't. The 1% rule is, let's say I'm all in, when I'm all investment in, when I have bought the home and let's say I need to put a little money into it to fix it up. Let's say I'm into it about $100,000. What the 1% rule says is that minimum, it needs to rent for a minimum of $1,000. So that 1% rule, this is gonna be like an easy way right out of the gate when you're looking at properties and you're saying, man, what should I do? How do I do this? The big thing is you can just break it down simple. What are you gonna be out of pocket? What are you gonna be all in? Now, mind you, you might be just doing 20% down, getting a loan, so you're gonna only put 20 grand down on a $100,000 loan. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the all-in purchase price. What's the mortgage, everything fixed up? What's the all-in price of that? You need to get 1%. It's a simple, easy rule to follow that will already tell you if it's the beginning of a good deal. The second criteria, and this is one personal to me, I want tenants to stay in my properties for a long time. And to do that, I need to make sure they have a space to grow a family there. You're gonna have people typically get into rentals where they are maybe a husband and wife, brand new, newlywed couple that they're just getting together, they're just starting out their journey together. They don't have as much money to get a home right now that they can own for themselves. So they buy or they rent a home from me or from you, right? So I wanna make sure my criteria also has space where families can grow. So I want my rentals to also be 4 bedrooms, and minimum 2 bathrooms. This is crucial. Now in a state where maybe you're looking at some of the states where it's like, no, that's just not typical. Maybe you're in New York or parts of California where you're like, no, people don't have a lot of kids and it's just something that you don't need that. Go off of that. Make sure you Google and do some research around it. But in Utah, guys, we're like the capital of having kids. We have a ton of kids in Utah, right? And so I wanna make sure I have rentals that provide housing for families, not just couples. I want someone that when they rent the home, they have space to grow into it. As they have children, they can say, hey, we can still stay here. I want tenants to stay there for years. What I don't want is a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, and the couple lives there, and then all of a sudden, after a couple years, they have a few kids, and now they don't have space, and so they leave. Every time they leave, guys, that leaves what's called vacancy, where the home is sitting there vacant with no one renting it, no one paying the bills except for you. So you've got to make sure that you have a criteria that's sound for your market. In a Utah market, I want to make sure 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, it's a must. Another piece of criteria is Invest in an area that in this area, I'm not talking about hours away, like right there in the area, that there's good, stable, and a good variety of jobs. I want government jobs, education jobs like teachers. I want to be able to have tech jobs. Maybe there's like manufacture jobs. Maybe there's even oil mines. But what I don't want a city that's just based off of oil mines. We have a city here, it's called Vernal in Utah. And the big boom there is oil mines. But guys, within every presidency of the United States, every president kind of changes like, hey, let's open the mines. Hey, let's close the mines. Hey, let's open the mines. Every time they do that, this city like goes to a ghost town and then it opens up again because the mine's open and then it closes and it goes back to a ghost town. I don't want that instability. I don't want that where individuals are only going to rent there if the market and the economy is good. I need to be in an area that's stable, that's not requiring just one type of job. I want a variety of different careers around that rental so that it gives me that opportunity to have long-term tenants, again, to lessen those vacancies and not make money. I need those buildings rented at all times. Now guys, remember on this when it comes to criteria, if one of them is not there, meaning you have these check marks and one of them doesn't pass the sniff test, it's a no. You do not bend these things. You do not bend it to work. You don't say, well, but on this one, I like it so much, I'm gonna get it. Set your criteria and live and die by the criteria, and that will lead you to make great choices and ultimately invest in great rental properties. Rule number 2, never manage your own rental properties. Guys, some of the brokest investors I know out there, in fact, some of definitely the most tired landlords out there, they're so tired, they're so worn out, they want to get out of the game. And every time you ask them, why do you want to get out of the game? 9 times out of 10, it's because they manage their own property and they just don't know how to do it efficiently. Maybe they have a 9-to-5 job and on the side, they have to manage their rentals. And because of that, they're overworked, they're overstrained, they have stress. And because of that, it's ruined relationships with their spouse or with their kids and they don't have enough time. And because of that, they want to get out of the game. The easiest thing, guys, is to not manage your properties. And you might be thinking, oh, but I'm saving so much more money. Guys, the time that you will spend dinking around with tenants and toilets and all the problems and my door hinges are creaking and making noises and hey, the yard is 4 feet tall and the city's now bringing by and putting a flag in your door and putting a post note saying you better fix this by Tuesday, otherwise you're gonna get a $150 fine or a $400 fine. Guys, you don't wanna have to deal with that. That's something that needs to be passed off to your property manager. So make sure you understand that if you're gonna get into the game and you really wanna be in this long term, please take the time to understand that if you manage your properties, you're not gonna grow it to the size that you want to. And ultimately, every rental you add, it makes the game easier. It makes it to where you love it and you're passionate about it and you start to see the income grow inside your bank accounts and you're able to do more things and make more investments based off the money that people are paying you to live in your rentals. You no longer have to use your money to buy rentals. You're using the money that your renters are paying you to buy more rentals. So make sure you're taking the time to really think through this. And if you must manage your own property, make sure that you're at least accounting for that in the future when you don't want to, that you have enough cash flow at the beginning stages, cash flow so that if you ever have to turn it over to a property manager, that you have money to pay for it. They're about a 10% of rent. So if rents are $1,000, they're gonna charge you $100 a month to manage that for you. Make sure your calculations at the beginning include property management fees so that if you ever have to switch over, it's already covered. Hey guys, before I move on to these secrets about Airbnbs and what I'm super excited about, and especially with this tsunami of an opportunity that's coming to each one of us that know these secrets, I want you to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that bell as well so it alerts you when I put out fresh new content. I have dedicated this channel to help you not only in just wholesaling and cherry picking and finding your greatest rentals, but ultimately how to turn real estate into an actual thriving business where it pays you each and every month. So what are these secrets about Airbnbs? What is it that everyone's talking about in the hype? Now guys, you see it, it's all over the internet. You hear people now, lesser are they now going to hotels. Guys, I can't tell you the last time I stayed in a hotel because now when me and my family, when we go out on vacation and we go, whether it's Disneyland, Disney World, whether it's just go visiting the beach, going to Hawaii, we don't stay in hotels, guys. We love staying in Airbnbs. We love staying, or VRBO, like vacation rentals by owner, right? We're always staying in homes. Usually you can get a lot better deal than a hotel. And now you have a kitchen, a place to cook, so you don't always have to go out to eat and eat all your meals at expensive restaurants. You can now bring your food there, go to Costco, buy a bulk and cook there. Guys, Airbnbs is the future, and more people are like resorting. They're going to Airbnbs, going to homes versus hotels. So what are the secrets about Airbnbs that you need to know? The first secret is that Airbnbs, they expand, they stretch how much money you make per rental. So instead of just thinking long-term tenants, meaning tenants that are gonna pay, like be there for 12 months, they have a lease agreement, and let's say, for example, an average rent in Utah is about $1,800. So $1,800 every single month, they're paying your rent. And you think, oh man, that sounds pretty good. My mortgage is only $1,200, $1,300, so there's some cash flow there. That's awesome. But if you can think Airbnb and you happen to be in great areas where people are like, hey, when I come to Salt Lake City or when I come to this area, I want to be this far from skiing at the greatest snow on earth is what people call Utah. They have all these options. You want to make sure that if you're in great areas that you start thinking, what if I turn this into an Airbnb? Because Airbnb, the first secret is it expands, it increases how much money you make on your rental each and every month. That same rental that may be for long-term, $1,800 a month, maybe renting it nightly because you can charge more per night than you can over someone that rents it for a whole month. You're able to get $2,500 or $3,000 or $4,000 a month in some seasons because of the snow or because of the fall or because of the summer and the lakes and the hiking and all the beautiful things that come with Utah. Now I can start to increase how much money I make per rental by just switching it to Airbnb. But guys, here is the biggest secret that there is about Airbnbs. I want this to really hit home with you because if you've always been thinking, when is a good time to get into rentals? When is a great time? Is it smart to get into rentals? Is it smart to buy investment properties? Guys, I'll tell you, timing and following certain rules like we've talked about in this video, that's crucial, that's part of it. But let me tell you one of the biggest secrets that's coming around the corner, and that is there's gonna be a tsunami of opportunity that I'm personally excited about and that you guys should be excited about. Coming back to this timing thing. What's happened is so many people didn't follow the rules. When they got into Airbnbs, they went off this like 1% rule and they thought it would work for Airbnb. Let me give you an example. Let's say that typical rents for an Airbnb nightly, they're like, oh man, we can make $4,000. And I'm looking at this mortgage after I have my mortgage, insurance, taxes, interest rates, all that. They call it PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance, right? PITI. Once I include all that, it's like $2,500. So, oh my gosh, I love it. It's better than the 1% rule. My mortgage and everything's $2,500 and I'm making $4,000 a month. Well guys, just so you know what we saw over the last couple years with COVID-19, it instantly took a dive on the vacation world. You saw people stay at home. You saw people not traveling. You didn't see them going out and staying in Airbnbs. You saw that industry really start to decrease and almost crash for a little bit. There are people hesitant to go out and about and go travel. Who's to say that that couldn't happen again? Who's to say that there couldn't be a different virus out there, a different thing out there that makes it to where travel slows down again? So here's the trouble. Here's the secret I want you to know about. When it comes to Airbnbs, is don't just base it off that 1% rule. You have to base it off of the 1% rule based off of long-term rentals. So where most people are making a failure, they're thinking, great, my mortgage is $2,500, it rents for $4,000. This is great, I'm gonna do well. But if that travel economy crashes like it did during this pandemic, right, that we're currently still in, maybe a long-term renter, a long-term, meaning someone that's like, hey, I have to switch my plan because Airbnb is not the model right now. But to put a long-term renter in there only pays $2,000 a month. Do you guys instantly see the problem there? They have a mortgage, principal, interest, tax, and insurance, all combined $2,500, but a renter only pays $2,000. They're upside down $500. Now you couple that with an individual that may lose a job, and now they don't have that extra $500 to pony up every single month. And they can't do it month after month after month. They're not making any money and they still have to put $500 more over and above what the renter's paying just to cover the mortgage. Guys, this is a problem. Now, this is a big problem. Instead of keeping up with the Joneses, guys, this is something that you got to just prepare for and understand it's coming. There's so many people that bought the Airbnb model wrong. They use the 1% rule based off of what their mortgage is and what they can rent it for, not thinking about what it would be if it's a long-term tenant. Most people are going to be upside down, leaving these Airbnbs, going to a ton of them to foreclosure, and bankruptcy to the people that own them. Now, what does that mean for me and what does that mean for you? You don't have to keep up with the Joneses. So many times we hear that saying, right? Like, oh, I got caught up. I'm always keeping up with the Joneses, right? You don't need to keep up with the Joneses. I'm telling you, just sit back, just wait. And you can buy the Joneses properties for 40 to 50 cents on the dollar when they foreclose on them. When it goes into bankruptcy, they're gonna need individuals like me. They're gonna need individuals like you to come in and help them out. Banks are going to be offloading these off their books, and they're gonna have to do it because there's gonna be so many at a discount. Now, why the Airbnb and why I'm so excited about this is because it's not just getting homes at 40, 50 cents on the dollar. Airbnbs are typically in great places. You see them on the coast. They're beachfront properties. They're ones that are surrounding like amusement parks like Disneyland and Disney World and Six Flags and Universal Studios and big water parks and places that are near like the canyons for skiing and hiking. Guys, these are the properties that people are buying in the wrong model. They're buying it based off that 1% for a long-term renter, and they're buying it upside down, and then they're losing money. Be ready. That's the biggest secret I can tell you that's coming around the corner for individuals that will be prepared and be ready and keep watching the market. At some point, there's gonna be a lot of Airbnbs going into foreclosure. That's where you have the opportunity to go out there and make a lot of money. Now guys, as a free gift, like always that I do in my videos, I've included a link down below in the description box that gives you free access to my negotiation crash course, where I share you my 5 top strategies. These are strategies I teach people at my 3-day workshops here in my office, and you'll get free access right now by just simply clicking on that link, and it'll send you into that training so that you can start to sound like a pro from day one and start doing deals right now in the next 30 days. Guys, click on that link and I'll see each one of you in the training.